Raising a Giant by Bob Crisp, Chapter 7. Who shall be the greatest? You will become as small as your controlling desire, or as great as your dominant aspiration. James Allen. In organization of all kinds, there is a constant struggle for power. Over time, centers of power change and regimes fall and are replaced by different regimes. Businesses, civic groups, universities, and of course governments go through constant power struggles and leadership changes. Network marketing is no different. Only here, the power ultimately accrues to performance over politics. A network marketing company is like a big long chain. While a chain is a series of circles, squares, or rectangles interlocked to form a continuous string of links, a network marketing company is a series of people linked together by a line of sponsorship to form a long line or chain. As in every growing organization, the question soon arises as to who is the most important person in the chain. What are the criteria on which to fairly judge, and what is important in a network marketing chain? Is it who got in first? How about the one that makes the most money? Or who is the best trainer? Maybe it is the one who can motivate best or provide the best all-around guidance and leadership. The first link theory. Many could make the argument that the first link, the one connected directly to the company, is the most important. Certainly, in modern-day network marketing companies, the person at the top is the one who makes the most money. So it would stand to reason that the first people to get in and pay the price of new beginnings would be the greatest. The problem with assigning greatness to the first link is that quite often the first link is merely an extension of the founder's family of friends who had lots of faith but little, if anything, to do with the building of the business. The subsequent links could also claim greatness, for each can argue, accurately I might submit, that they are too deserving of credit for being the greatest. Without one link, the chain ceases to be. Each link then shares a distinctly different value and yet an equally distinct importance. The last or most recent link in the chain could always argue for greatness because the last link represents the future. The ability for any network marketing company to grow always lies in the last links. The leading edge of the business defines the future and makes the ongoing viability of the company possible. So what is the answer to the question, who is the greatest? In the pages that follow, we will look at some important ways to evaluate and judge the chain or line of sponsorship. The income theory. The first item on the agenda for discussing value is income. Many considerations must be evaluated. First, does each member of the chain make money in the same way? In other words, does any member have a better or more lucrative deal? If so, refigure the income figures on the same basis for a fair look at the numbers. Numbers don't lie, but they also don't tell the whole story either. For example, newer distributor groups will usually do substantially higher sales volume per distributor than a more seasoned one will because of initial startup inventory. However, inventory purchases can come back. Distributors can get disenchanted and return products, so upline commissions can reflect an inventory loading scheme which ultimately backfires on the company and costs the company large sums, not to mention considerable credibility problems in the community at large and in the industry. Income. While the major reason most people get involved in network marketing, it is a secondary judgment factor because of the many levels-based bonus programs allow you to make considerable income from only having recruited one real heavy hitter. Breakaway volume-based plans, on the other hand, are more difficult for the average distributor to make money, but they certainly cut the men from the boys when it comes to evaluating who is actually building a business. The discussion then comes down to the fact that the only constant way to judge distributor effort and ability is a combination of width, the number of legs across your front line, and depth, the number of distributors downline in any particular leg. With generally indicates that you, not your upline or downline, are out on the sponsoring trail and event new customers and prospective distributors. While upline players may help you sponsor with, it is usually in their best interest to concentrate on working in the depth of your organization. Working depth can produce large amounts of volume and sometimes, depending on the pay plan, can produce significant incomes. But it is often a dodge for going out and using your own skills and prospect lists to develop the business. Sometimes distributors retreat to working depth so that someone else will have to make the phone calls and set up the events, and they won't have to. Obviously, someone who builds only one large leg is not as proven a success as someone who has built many different legs to a high level. Therefore, the discussion of income ends when evaluating who is the most important player in the chain with the discussion of width and depth. Most companies have a recognition-based program based on the amount of sales volume, a number of legs and width you have at a certain sales volume, and your own personal group sales volume. Many have retail sales requirements which must be met in order to receive bonuses and recognition. I believe we will see more of this in the future. The training theory. Many discussions of who is the most important revolve around the issue of training. Certainly, when you are building an organization of part-time salespeople who are for the most part transitioning from another career, you will want to address the importance of being a good trainer. Training is the transference of ideas, skills, and methods to another. The better you are at doing this, the more valuable you will be to your organization. Anything that increases your training skills will enhance your value and thus move you along the chain more quickly. This certainty is born in society as a whole. A college education, together with on-the-job or specialized training, is the launching platform for advancement in almost every company. Entrepreneurs usually get lost somewhere along the way and must look outside of themselves to someone more experienced in a given area to teach them and strengthen their skills. In network marketing organizations, you may find that a great downline will emerge with both width and depth, but the key player in the training area may come from the company, from an upline leader, or from someone in another organization. What any of these scenarios may be telling us is that we have a smart recruiter who is smart enough to get his or her distributors to another person for training, but is not skilled enough themselves to do the training. I have personal acquaintances that do quite well in network marketing, but are not especially good trainers themselves. The lack of skill may be the result of indifference, which tells us we are dealing with a weak overall player, or it may stem from some defect of some kind, such as a speech impediment, poor vocabulary, or maybe even lack of experience on the whole. Regardless, no evaluation of value within the framework of a network marketing organization would be complete if we did not discuss the role of the trainer. Training itself has many levels for it, but it is possible that someone is a great basic trainer but weak in advanced leadership skills or sales skills development. The motivator theory. No network marketing organization will go far unless someone assumes the role of the motivator. While it is true that everyone is a motivator of sorts, the kind of motivation required to sustain a long-term network marketing business is much different than that required to get someone to simply sign an application and sell a few products. The motivator we are discussing here is a provocateur, a stimulator, a visionary who has great verbal skills and is highly professional in the expressions of dreams and concepts. It is important to note here that many people play essential roles in motivation. No one is motivated simply by outside influences. A large part of motivation is found within. The motivator we are discussing here is the person to whom the organization looks to initiate programs and is the leading spokesperson for the group. He or she may be a provocateur, a dynamic, forceful personality, or a simplifier who articulates in understandable terms the necessary elements of successful business building. He or she is an enabler, an encouragement to all, from the least to the greatest. Motivation is an ongoing problem for all of us. The person who builds a great organization knows this all too well. And plans for motivational activities should be made all the time. The motivator may not be a great speaker, but maybe someone who is skilled at simplifying ideas and communicating exciting ideas and plans. Motivation is an art form. Whether by speech or other forms of communication, the motivator is valued and priceless commodity in any network marketing company. There are many who believe that motivation can be bought. Just pay a fee and bring in a great motivational speaker. While this kind of motivation may work on a temporary basis, it will never take the place of native talent. Some hired guns leave you all dressed up with no place to go. Learning to apply motivation to a productive result is the key. This may be the area where most organizations fail ultimately. The great motivators are usually driven by the need for recognition themselves. Some, however, fall into the trap of focusing so much on themselves that they fail in their mission to motivate others because they are so self-absorbed. It would be well to understand and constantly remind ourselves that every one of us has an insatiable hunger to feel important. Again, here, as with the trainer, we may find a large distributor with a large downline group and big income who is not a motivator, but is good at plugging their people into someone upline, crossline, or with the company. This is smart business and should always be the way leaders think. The real leader has a philosophy of doing things the best way, not just his way. The knowledge theory. No one doubts that knowledge is the key to success. The value of being knowledgeable in determining who is the most valuable cannot be underestimated. Certainly, the one who knows the most is the most apt to provide all the attributes that have been discussed to this point. Knowledge is power. Rather, the use of knowledge is power. Internet note. Paul Zane Pilzer, in his book, The Next Millionaires, say that the future millionaires are those who learn intellectual distribution, which he describes as teaching others about new products and services and what these new products can do for them. And of course, the new medium for intellectual distribution is the internet itself, e-marketing, a version of network marketing. Many people go through life oblivious to the things around them. There are so many people in darkness that the light is almost eclipsed. There are too many among us content with the status quo, too many unwilling to examine new ideas and methods, too contented with mediocrity, and too few motivated to learn. The power in the future will flow to those who have used the widest variety of available knowledge. This has never been more true than it is today in network marketing. The industry is changing. The network marketing professional has emerged, and legal battles rage almost every day on what is acceptable business practices and what is not. Methods that could be used just a few short years ago are now considered unethical and outdated. The day has come for the knowledgeable to come forward and lead the way. It will always be true that while it may not take a genius to build a business, it will take someone willing to learn that which he or she does not know to build a large, successful, and long-term network marketing business. Certainly, the use of knowledge is very powerful. The leadership theory. No one has ever become a great network marketing distributor who didn't possess great leadership skills. A leader is one who leads the way. Nothing can take the place of a person who gets out in front and shows the way to the top. It would be an oversimplification to say that setting the right example is the role of the leader. It is so much more. Leadership is an art, taught best by example and learned by observation. The good leader is out in front with a banner, not behind with a whip. There is, in my opinion, no higher calling on the planet than the role of leader. Where then do you get leadership skills? Who teaches the leader to lead? How do you develop great leaders? Leadership skills are developed over a long period of time. The true leader of any network marketing organization is never hard to find. The leader will be the most visible person around, always exhorting, challenging, and motivating the group around him or her. Many times the leader is not the best trainer or the most skilled speaker. Sometimes the leader is the one with the softest personality and the kindest heart. Sometimes the leader is hard-hitting and arrogant. Sometimes soft-spoken and humble. But always the good leader cares deeply for those he or she leads. A good leader provides constant vision for the group. He or she provides organized events and trainings as well as rewards and recognition programs for the group. A good leader is sensitive to the group's needs and desires. A good leader listens and takes into account the opinions of others. Most of all, the leader is a good decision maker. No one makes all the right decisions. A good leader makes decisions and then makes them right. A good leader provides a sense of continuity to the group and defines the boundaries of fair play that all, including himself or herself, must follow. The leader is the lightning rod for criticism and the whipping post for critics. The leadership is a lonely ship, but the good leader for all the world would never sell out the group for the next deal. The leader's motto is follow me and fear nothing. Those who run away from the responsibilities which come with the success of a large network marketing business will ultimately lose it. The most important link in the chain is the one that's missing. If a chain has a distributor with knowledge, a visionary, a great communicator, a motivator, then the income will be there. It is rare when you find a chain with only one strong link. Usually each link possesses some uniqueness. The point to be learned from this chapter is that one link is not stronger than the other, but that the evaluation standards must be broad and not narrow. Income, the usual standard, is not the only standard. There are many smaller, subtler nuances to the evaluation process. Don't judge a chain by its first or last link, nor judge it by the person with the biggest income, the loudest mouth, the brightest neckties, or the best dresses. Rather, look around, take some time, and get to know the persons the chain represents. Study results, not simply activities. The race doesn't always go to the swiftest. The good book reminds us that by their fruits you shall know them. Become a fruit inspector. Over time, knowledge and leadership skills will equate to income. Over time will come testing. Through testing will emerge the real people of value. Just as the chain maker hardens the steel by putting it in the fire, so will the network marketing chain be hardened by the fires of diligence and hard work. Don't be too quick to judge. Applaud loudly for the accomplishments of others. Listen and learn. Take advantage of every opportunity to serve. Remember the admonition. Let he who would be the greatest among you be as the least. The motto here should be, stop looking for a leader and become one. Chapter 7 of Raising a Giant by Bob Crisp, read by Will Zanders.